Christmas and holiday season has officially arrived in the town of Niagara. On Saturday, November 4th, the Town of Niagara Business and Professional Association held the Electric Light Parade. This annual event is always a big success, according to Supervisor Lee Wallace.
Nobody else does this but the Town of Niagara and the Town of Niagara Businessmen's Association, and I want to thank them, President Anthony Restaino, Gary Strinkowski, who puts this all together. Gary's fantastic. Hope he keeps doing it, because I don't know anyone else that could do it but him. So it's just a great community event.
And a lot of food is raised.
Yes, well, all the food that is brought here from the residents and people that come to the parade is turned in and given to the food pantries.
And that food drive is very near and dear to my heart and a lot of other people's. The food goes to Niagara Gospel Mission, Community Mission, Niagara Presbyterian Church, and also St. Vincent and Paul. And they get that food right back out into the community. They do a very good job.
And now this has become a real fixture in the town of Niagara.
I would say so. They seem to want it. You know, the town board supports it. The Town of Niagara Business Association presents it. We have great sponsors in Allied Waste, National Grid, and we have great associate sponsors here. There's several of them, and a lot of collaboration with a lot of good people.
And this is not the only holiday event in the town this month.
No, the first annual Noel at Niagara. It's our first rendering of our holiday lights in the park, and we're looking forward to that. That's on the 24th. Thanks, Bob. And November 24th, and starting off at about 5:30, 6 o'clock, and then we have Santa Claus every Saturday night leading up to Christmas.
Hi, this is Cindy Abbott Letro from Behind the Camera. We're actually in front of the camera, but we like to do this. And Ruben Santiago is with me. And if the name sounds familiar, it is because Ruben is the son of Ruben Santiago. Is it senior and you're junior, or you just try to confuse us?
Well, he's actually junior. My grandfather was
So you're
senior.
the third.
So I'm the third, yeah.
You're the third. Well, Ruben, your father is so well known for Lackawanna Blues and really trying to help the film industry here in Buffalo in our Western New York region. But you have been a production with your dad, but you've been a production assistant for, a lot of different professional films. How did you get into it? Was it something that you just watched your dad and then decided you wanted to be a part of?
Well, honestly, visiting sets as a kid and coming up and seeing my dad work on them, I had no interest at all in working.
Oh, wow.
And I wanted to act. I felt like acting was great, and I wanted to do acting. So my first actual production assistant job on a movie set was 2 years after I started in theater.
Okay.
I had already worked in theater and I loved it. So it actually took that time, my first day on set, to fall in love with wanting to work on film. I actually thought that I wouldn't. I was literally going my first day to show myself that I didn't want to do this.
And then, what was it that made you decide it's what you wanted to do?
Well, you actually see what's put into it. I've always looked at it from tunnel vision, or a tunnel vision, as my dad's son. But as somebody at work, I had to actually work with the grips and work with the electrics and make sure that the environment was safe and things that I wouldn't have thought that I would have needed, that anybody needed to do. Mm-hmm. For production. I realized there's so much that goes into what I see that nobody see. I want to do that,
Well, and that's surprising, because most people, we have these egos where we want to be in front of the camera, we want to be the one getting the acclaim, right. And most times, they don't recognize the production assistant.
Right. I actually did some acting, a good amount of acting in college. I was a member of our, what we call the Players Association, or Players Actors Guild there. And it was awesome. And I thought, I want to be an actor, I want to be an actor, I want to be an actor. And as soon as I worked in film, it's the last thing I wanted to do. I don't want to act at all anymore. Please let me work to make the production. But again, this wasn't film, this was theater. Theater is amazing because all these actors actually bring personality to rehearsal too. You get personality all over the place, not just, for today, but film and theater are two different animals, and if you fall in love with one, it's easy to fall in love with the other. And I totally love working on film. I wouldn't work on anything other than if I could.
But you walked away from being a production assistant for a while. You were doing that professionally, and it sounds like you were really busy for a long time.
Yeah, I made it a career choice in 2005 and 6. I worked on so many back-to-back that people were asking me how I was getting them, but it's the hustle. It's one of the things that anybody who wants to be a production assistant needs to know. It's so rewarding, it's so fruitfully rewarding, I have to say, because you're a part of this great thing, but you have to hustle for the next one. While you're working on this, work for the next one. And I miss my daughter. And so I got this great job working in New York City, paid good money. I had a great apartment, and I decided, let me just do this for a while. And in those 3 years away, I melted knowing that I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. I had built a career. And even in that time with my daughter, I'm happy that it happened, but I realized that is really what I want to do. Mm-hmm. That's how it was easy to get back into it. Easy, absolutely no other choice.
Were they waiting for you? They said, okay, you're back.
I absolutely 100% sure. My first day back on set, I actually worked on something with my dad. And I guess one of the most prominent things that happened that day is that I paid him no attention at all. And everyone noticed it. Everybody was like, yo, I thought your son was coming today. He's like, that's the guy over there. So I'm getting everything done. It was this huge day where we had the outside scene where we were shooting a big parking lot scene, so it was hundreds of people there. And so when I got there, it was like I already knew what to do. So, and it was all these other production assistants who were kind of new. So I knew immediately where I needed to jump in, and I just jumped in, and I didn't have a chance to even say hi to my dad. So, yeah, I know they were waiting for me.
Well, will this lead to something else? Your dad has written things, directed things, produced things. I mean, do you see yourself developing in that way to do something beyond being a production assistant?
I actually do, and again, not to reflect on me walking away. But I think had I not, then I probably would be further along the trail of what I see for myself. And I think that everybody who works in production, as a production assistant, as an assistant director, which is two different things, or even in camera, makeup, hair, whatever you're doing, we all have greater aspirations. Nobody just wants to sit and just put eyelashes on somebody, or just load the film into the camera and watch the other guy shoot. We all have some type of aspiration. You don't ever let it go, but you learn as much as you can as a production assistant, and you pass it down to whoever you bring on. It's very important to pass down information, because without production assistants as the strong, I would like to call us the legs to every production, then you won't be able to walk anywhere. You won't be able to get anywhere. So we need us, and we need us to be experienced, we need us to be knowledgeable, and we need us to be willing to work, because that's the biggest thing that you have to be. Is you got to be willing to work, be here and be ready to go.
Everyone has said that being timely is really important. Is there one instance that you can think about, from everything that you've done, where you said, boy, I nailed it, and that's why I do this?
Absolutely. Besides that day I told you about a while ago, which actually my first day back, I would say, my first day on any set, I nailed it. And again, my thought was that I would get on set and then prove to the people who were telling me, you're going to love making movies. I don't want to make movies. I want to stay in theater. I get there, and of course, after the paperwork, anybody who does production assistants, your first day, prepare for the paperwork immediately. After that, go to work. So after the paperwork, of course, in the first 20 minutes of the day, I really started to get, hit the ground with my feet running. I'm working with this guy, I'm working with that guy, and before I knew it, a half of the day was gone. And I can't think of a better time to say this is where I fit. It just worked. That day was perfect. It let me know this is what I wanted to do.
That is when it's perfect, when you're totally unconscious of the time that's passing. It has been a delight to talk to you, Ruben Santiago the III, and say hello to your father for us from Buffalo, and congratulations to him and everyone for how successful they've been. This is really, you did nail it. You nailed it today, too. Thank you for being with us. This is Behind the Camera, Cindy Abbott Letro. Till next time.
Well, we have a beautiful day here at the end of October at Veterans Memorial Community Park, and we have the Buffalo Bills working with us for a flag football clinic, and we were excited for the turnout, and we're hoping that this will be a great event that blossoms into more and more activity at our beautiful park here in the town.
It's the first time we've ever done it here. We're really excited about it. We've got about 50 kids. They're learning how to throw, how to catch, how to run. We have a flag football field. It's really exciting. We're having a lot of fun, and we're excited to be here.
I think it's an absolute great opportunity for us. A lot of times we think of the Bills being Orchard Park South towns, but we think that this is a great way for us to get the Bills and a lot of community involvement and good character building up here in the North Towns, not only for the residents of the town, but a lot of Niagara County as well.
This is the NFL flag football program. It's really an important initiative to us. We want to see as many kids in our community playing football. It's a great alternative for boys and girls to play all the way from 6 up to 14 years old. It's an area of focus that we really want to see grow and expand, and we think it has a lot of possibilities. We really hope that the kids have fun, number one, learn some safe, fundamental NFL flag techniques, find a position that might fit them, that they might enjoy, and hopefully will continue to come back or ask about participating in a league locally.
You think you'll be back to the town?
We're having a great time out here today. We hope that this is an annual event. We hope to continue to grow the event and continue to have kids come out. We want Niagara Falls, the town of Niagara are part of our community, and we love having kids out here today.
So another great recreational event out here at the town.
Absolutely. This is another thing that complements our summer concert series, our baseball, softball, our holiday parties. A great park and a great atmosphere for us to invest in the people and families and kids of our town.
Did you like it? Yeah? What'd you like the most?
That.
Oh, going over the bags? Yeah. What'd you think, Mom?
Awesome. I would have everybody come back out again next year. Thank you for having us.
No, I don't know though. I'm scared. I mean, you're so
Do you know that you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
Well, you know, Bob, it started back about 25 years ago, and I happened to be at a place by the name of Shooters, and I had a small party planned for about 75 people. And anyways, before you know it, everybody heard that I had a party going on, and anyway, they started coming in. I asked Reggie, the owner, I says, Reggie, we got all these people coming in. You got a bigger room? He says, I can't do nothing. And then my craziness that I am, I says, then do me a favor. Get me 4 or 5 more bartenders, zero out the register, and I want everybody in the restaurant to drink for nothing for the next 4 hours. Well, they were Miami people. Everybody's hugging, everybody's kissing. As a matter of fact, I got scared when I seen someone come down and they're carrying a case of champagne on the guy's boat because they could park next to the dock. And someone said, hey, some guy from New York just bought Shooters. They're giving all the liquor away. Well, I don't want to tell you what my tab was, but it was an expensive tab, but it probably was one of the finest parties I've had, everybody getting along. And every year, the Bills were doing so great, and it got exciting. Every year, it's 25 years I've been having my parties, Bob. I mean, I hate to add up when it comes to, because I probably could have owned my own restaurant at that time and bought Shooters. But we had so much fun. We went down, and we used to have all the television cameras bring us, follow us down there, and we'd have parties at Shooters every single year, and I'm talking 1,500 people, and everybody drank on me. We used to have excursions. We'd fill 3 or 4 airplanes and go down there. It was the exciting days of the Buffalo Bills. I have to tell you a little story when we went back at one time. Our nicest party was a Miami party that we had at the convention center. And there was a white writer in Miami, Gary Stein, who worked for the South Centennial. He called the Buffalo Bill fans a bunch of fat beer belly drinking slobs. And well, I told him, I says, Gary, we went back, we had a fight going back and forth. You know, that's not nice to say. We spend a lot of money in Miami. We want an apology or we're going to boycott Florida. And he puts in the paper, well, we're glad to see you clean up the pollution. Well, let me tell you, that year, the following year, I got nobody to go to Miami. No one. We boycotted it. I had 5,000 people at the convention center. We served drinks, roast beef sandwiches. We had a pool in there. We had everybody in bikini bathing suits, palm trees, and we beat Miami so bad that day. They had all the Buffalo fans, even on ESPN, showing that. And would you believe the South Centennial, all the restaurants got together down there. They got him fired. It was the happiest day of my life. They got him fired for ripping the Buffalo fans apart. Once they let him go, we started going back to Miami again. Well, I guess I'm very, very safe to say yes. I think I've only got a few more years. I'm going to be 83 years old. How long do we have to wait? My gosh, we had our opportunity, and man, We missed out on a couple of them. What a great, great city we'd had. We won a couple of Super Bowls. Not that we have one, so I have one now. My next ambition, which I'm starting to do right now, is I'm trying to help organizations like I did for the hospital, bought the TVs, that helped a lot of people in the hospital that they don't have to pay for television. I did it for Roswell. I'm doing it now for Mothers of Mercy. I'm going to take care of whatever I can do for the community. I have money. I hope I go to the grave with not a penny in the bank. And I give it all to the society here that has helped me be successful. Where I can see somebody bring me something and say, would you be willing to donate X amount of money to make a bunch of people happy, like in the hospital, where they never have to turn on the TV. I will continue to do that until I'm broke. And I work very, very hard. I make a lot of money. But at the end of the year, I give it all away. I don't want to give 1 penny to Uncle Sam. I'd rather give it to all those beautiful people that are listening to us right now.
Bye. Bye. All right. Bye. Come home straight after school.
Okay, love you.
Bye. As a parent, you want to protect your kids from everything, which sometimes means telling them things they need to hear in order to keep them safe. Things like don't smoke and don't talk to strangers. But how many of us talk to our kids about gambling? Teen gambling can become an addiction, a pathway to other destructive behavior. Be aware of the warning signs. Have the gambling conversation with your kids. Need help? Visit PreventYouthGamblingNY.org to get started.
Ever since it opened, Ilio DiPaolo's in Blaisdell has had a close connection to the Buffalo Bills. It's a short drive away from Ralph Wilson Stadium. It's a favorite restaurant of lots of players, coaches, and fans, and its walls are covered with memorabilia. Naturally, conversations around meals at Ilio's often turn to favorite Bills memories or thoughts on the current team's chances. And that's exactly what's happening out on the patio today, except this group of Bills fans is a little different than most.
Pro wrestling has been such a big, vital part of Western New York tradition and Buffalo tradition since before our time. The last sporting event in the Buffalo Auditorium was pro wrestling 20 years ago.
Dennis and his dad, Ilya, when I first came to Buffalo, they took me in, so I became a wrestling fan. And at the very first one that we had was great.
I had the opportunity about 20 years ago to bring a wrestling event to Buffalo. Obviously getting to meet Dennis DiPaolo enhanced that experience.
You got to remember in the 60s, the Bills were just starting out. They used to practice right up the street here where the McKinley Mall was, and it was a short walk down for dinner to Ilio's. Pro wrestling was the big sport in town. Many of our Buffalo Bills players were great wrestlers, so there's always a deep connection. Football and wrestling, you know, it's a hand-in-hand thing.
One of the first events that we had here, Jim Kelly decided to spontaneously jump up in the ring and get involved in a match, and it was an unscripted part of the show. And in fact, it was the best part of the show.
Don't hurt your arm, whatever you do. Don't break your arm, Jim, or your leg. Oh, God. Then we have to move after that.
I won't go so far as to say I wanted to sign him at that point because I knew he was a little busy playing football.
This is just great. It's like being back to the roots of wrestling, the bond of the ring, we call it.
Transplanted Buffalonian originally. I was born here, raised in Texas. And my family's still very passionate about those Buffalo Bills.
It's hard not to fall in love with Buffalo once you actually come to Buffalo, and especially when you step foot in the Ralph.
We're going to make them Bills fans anyway, especially after having lunch here. They got to be a Bills fans.
Wrestling's like food. You know, it brings people together, talk about the old days, talk about what's going on in your lives.
That's the key to success in Buffalo. When the team embraces the community and the community embraces the team, that's a win-win combination.
Ooh, yeah.
Movie makers have been coming to Western New York for over a half-century, filming such classics as Niagara with Marilyn Monroe, or The Natural with Robert Redford. Buffalo Niagara Film Commissioner Tim Clark and the Buffalo Niagara Film Office have helped facilitate the production of movies, television shows, and commercials for over a decade. The Buffalo area has seen such films as Henry's Crime with Keanu Reeves come to town, or more recently, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles utilizing the 33 for a critical car chase action sequence. However, Niagara Falls and Niagara County have now become more and more a destination point for filmmakers as well. Tim Clark sat down with What's Up Western New York at the Riviera Theater in North Tonawanda to discuss the growth of film production in Niagara County and the surrounding region.
The concept of a film office is to sort of harness all the assets architecturally and with the crew and with permitting processes and all of that kind of stuff. Is to harness all that so that when a filmmaker comes to Western New York, for instance, they're not dealing with 20 different agencies and get on wheeling. We basically handle it from the first call to when the trucks leave and choose the line to buy. So we literally are involved in pretty much every aspect of filmmaking, not just here at Niagara Falls, but anywhere in the United States.